Ladies and gentlemen, friends, and seekers of wisdom, today I invite you to pause for a moment and reflect on this simple truth. Your career is not just about what you earn, it's about who you become in the process. Too often, we chase success without understanding significance. Too often, we run after money, forgetting meaning. Today, I want to share with you not just advice for a career, but wisdom for a fulfilling life. If you are searching for direction, if you are struggling with choices, or if you simply want to find deeper happiness in your professional journey, watch this till the end. Because the right advice at the right time can change your destiny. When we speak about career, the first thing most people think about is success, money, fame, position, power, and recognition. And yes, these things matter, but let me remind you, success without significance is an empty victory. Imagine reaching the top of a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. What's the point of climbing so high, working so hard, and sacrificing so much, only to discover that it doesn't give you joy, peace, or fulfillment? We live in a world where the definition of success has been narrowed down to material possessions. How big your car is, how expensive your phone is, how luxurious your lifestyle looks. But life is not about impressing people, it is about impacting people. Significance is when your career goes beyond yourself. When what you do every single day adds value, not just to your bank account, but to other people's lives. Think of the doctors who save lives, the teachers who shape minds, the leaders who inspire nations. Their success is not measured merely in salaries, but in the significance of the change they bring. And the truth is, you don't have to be in a glamorous profession to live significantly. A parent who works hard to provide for their family, a worker who shows integrity in every task, a student who chooses to stand for honesty over shortcuts. All of them are living significant lives. Because significance is not about what you have, it's about what you give. There's a deep emptiness that many professionals feel when they only chase success. They work long hours, achieve big titles, collect applause, yet when they lay down at night, there's a quiet whisper inside, "Is this all there is?" That whisper is your soul telling you that you are made for more than money. Success is a race, but significance is a journey. Success is about reaching goals, but significance is about leaving footprints. Success will make you rich, but significance will make you remembered. So as you think about your career path, pause for a moment and ask yourself, will my work end with me, or will it live beyond me? Will people celebrate what I had, or will they celebrate what I gave? True greatness is not in being known, but in making a difference. The world does not need more successful people. It desperately needs more people who live with significance. People who bring compassion to workplaces, integrity to businesses, wisdom to leadership, and kindness to every interaction. Success may fill your pockets, but only significance will fill your heart. Passion is the fuel that sustains you when the road gets hard, when the hours are long, and when the results don't come as quickly as you expected. Without passion, your career becomes a burden, a duty you drag yourself into every morning, counting the hours till it ends. With passion, however, even the toughest challenges turn into opportunities, and every obstacle feels like a stepping stone. When you love what you do, failure doesn't break you, it teaches you. Success doesn't inflate your ego, it humbles you. Work doesn't feel like punishment, it becomes a privilege. That is the power of passion. Many people chase careers only for financial gain. They choose paths because they look secure, respected, or profitable. And yes, money is important, but it is not everything. Think of how many professionals earn more than they ever imagined, yet remain deeply unsatisfied. Their wallets may be full, but their hearts remain empty. Money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy enthusiasm. It can purchase luxuries, but it cannot purchase meaning. And sooner or later, a lack of passion leads to burnout, because no amount of money can push you to keep running when your soul feels exhausted. Passion is the inner engine that keeps you moving forward when external rewards fade. When you discover what you truly care about, work transforms. Suddenly, Mondays are not dreaded, they are welcomed. Sacrifices don't feel like losses, they feel like investments. You stop asking, "How long will this take?" and start saying, "As long as it takes, I'm willing to do it." That shift is what separates the average from the extraordinary. The most inspiring people in history were not necessarily the richest or the most qualified, they were the most passionate. Passion made them resilient when others quit. Passion made them creative when resources were scarce. Passion made them courageous when fear screamed at them to stop. But passion is not always something you are born knowing. Sometimes it is discovered along the way. You may try different things, stumble, fall, and only then realize what lights you up. That's why it's important to stay curious, to explore, to pay attention to what excites you, what energizes you, and what gives you a sense of meaning. Don't be afraid if your path looks different from the crowd. Passion is deeply personal. It is your calling, not anyone else's. And when you live from that place, you will naturally attract opportunities because people are drawn to those who radiate genuine enthusiasm. At the end of the day, ask yourself, if I had all the money I needed, what would I still wake up and do every day? The answer to that question is where your passion lies. And if you align your career with that passion, perseverance will come naturally. You won't need to force yourself to keep going. Your inner fire will push you forward. That is why the best career advice is not just to choose what pays the most, but to choose what makes you come alive. Because when you come alive, you not only succeed, you inspire others to come alive too. Balance is one of the greatest arts of life, and yet it is the art most people ignore until it is too late. In the race for achievement, many sacrifice their health, their peace of mind, and their relationships, thinking they will make time later. But the truth is, later never comes. A successful career without balance often leads to an exhausted body, a restless mind, and a lonely heart. What is the use of climbing high in your profession if your personal life is crumbling underneath you? What is the use of winning the respect of strangers if you have lost the love of those closest to you? Balance does not mean you stop chasing excellence, but it means you refuse to chase it at the cost of your well-being and your happiness. A career is only one dimension of your life, not the entire definition of your life. Think of it like a wheel. If one spoke is much longer than the others, the wheel cannot roll smoothly. In the same way, if career dominates everything and family, health, spirituality, and self-care are neglected, your life begins to wobble. Balance means remembering that while ambition is important, so is peace. While growth matters, so does gratitude. The most successful people are not those who worked endlessly without pause. They are those who managed to nurture both their professional dreams and their personal happiness. When you lose balance, you may gain wealth but lose health. You may achieve promotions but damage relationships. You may collect titles but feel empty within. Balance is not about doing less, it is about doing wisely. It is about setting boundaries, knowing when to stop, and realizing that your mental clarity and emotional strength are far more valuable than a few extra hours of work. Balance teaches us to pause and breathe, to enjoy the small blessings that success often blinds us to. The smile of a loved one, the beauty of a sunset, the laughter of friends, the calmness of prayer. Without these, even the greatest career achievements feel hollow. Balance also requires gratitude. When you are constantly chasing the next goal, the next milestone, the next recognition, you forget to appreciate how far you have already come. Gratitude brings balance to ambition. It reminds you that life is not just about running. It is also about resting, not just about achieving. It is also about appreciating. Balance is the harmony between striving for more and being content with what you already have. Without gratitude, ambition becomes greed, and greed always leads to dissatisfaction. If you observe carefully, the people who truly radiate joy are not always the richest or the most powerful, but those who have learned the delicate rhythm of balance. They work with dedication, but they also laugh with their families. They chase big goals, but they also nurture small joys. They know when to give their best and when to slow down and simply be present. Balance is what turns a successful career into a fulfilling life. So, as you move forward in your journey, remember that success is not just about reaching the top. It is about reaching there with peace in your mind, health in your body, and love in your heart. Without balance, you may end up with achievements that others admire, but a life that you yourself regret. True wisdom is to create a career that fits into your life, not a life that is crushed under your career. In the pursuit of a career, many people become so focused on positions, promotions, and titles that they forget the most important currency in life is relationships. A title may open doors, but relationships will keep those doors open. A position may earn you respect in the office, but how you treat people determines the respect you carry in their hearts. When your journey ends, people will not remember the letters before or after your name. They will remember how you made them feel. They will not recall the projects you completed or the profits you generated as much as they will recall the kindness, patience, and empathy you showed them when it mattered most. A career is not just about climbing the ladder, it is also about lifting others as you climb. If you focus only on reaching the top without caring about the people around you, you may get there, but you will stand alone. What joy is there in standing at the peak if you have no one to share it with? True greatness lies in carrying people with you, in mentoring, in encouraging, in creating an environment where others grow alongside you. Leadership is not about ruling from above. It is about walking with others side by side. The tragedy of many ambitious individuals is that they sacrifice relationships in order to gain recognition. They distance themselves from family, neglect their friendships, and treat colleagues as competition rather than companions. But at the end of the day, when the applause fades and the office lights turn off, it is relationships that give meaning to our lives. What is the use of earning millions if your home is empty of laughter? What is the use of being admired by the world if you are estranged from those closest to you? A fulfilling career is one that strengthens, not weakens, the bonds of love and trust. Relationships in the workplace also define the quality of your journey. If you are surrounded by people who respect you for your integrity and kindness, every day at work feels lighter, even during stressful times. But if you achieve status by fear, manipulation, or arrogance, you may have control, but never genuine respect. People may obey your instructions, but they will not give you their hearts. And without hearts, there can be no true collaboration, no real loyalty, no lasting legacy. Remember, careers eventually end. Positions will be given to someone else, titles will pass on, and achievements will fade into history. But relationships, if nurtured well, continue to live on. People will tell stories of how you encouraged them when they felt like giving up, how you supported them when they made mistakes, how you celebrated their successes with genuine joy. That is the legacy of relationships. Even long after you are gone, your name will be spoken with warmth, not because of your title, but because of your touch on people's lives. So, as you build your career, ask yourself constantly, am I building walls with people, or am I building bridges? Am I chasing recognition that will fade, or am I creating connections that will endure? True career wisdom lies not in being the most important person in the room, but in making every person in the room feel important. Because positions may be temporary, but the love and respect you earn through relationships last forever. Learning never ends. The moment we stop learning, we stop growing, and when growth stops, life slowly loses its spark. Many people think that education is something you finish once you receive a degree or a certificate, but wisdom tells us otherwise. A degree may open the first door for you, but continuous learning is what will keep opening doors throughout your journey. Skills can land you a job, but a learner's mindset can give you a fulfilling life. The world is constantly changing, and if we cling only to what we once knew, we will soon find ourselves outdated, frustrated, and left behind. The most successful and fulfilled people are those who remain students long after they leave the classroom. Every challenge you face in your career is a disguised opportunity to learn. Failures are not dead ends. They are classrooms where experience teaches lessons no textbook ever can. Every person you meet can be a teacher if you approach them with humility. Even those who criticize you or oppose you offer lessons, teaching you patience, resilience, and the ability to see from another perspective. The humble person grows because they know there is always something more to learn. The arrogant person stops growing because they believe they already know everything. And in that belief, they silently begin their decline. Lifelong learning is not only about technical knowledge or professional expertise. It is about developing wisdom, emotional intelligence, communication skills, and the ability to understand people and life. A brilliant mind that cannot handle failure or relationships will stumble, while an average person with the humility to learn from every experience will continue to rise. Learning is not only found in books or formal education, it is hidden in daily experiences, in observing others, in reflecting on mistakes, and in being willing to ask questions. Those who dare to admit, "I don't know, but I am willing to learn," always surpass those who pretend to know it all. Technology changes, industries evolve, opportunities shift. What is relevant today may become obsolete tomorrow. If we stop learning, we become rigid and resistant, like an old tree that refuses to bend and finally breaks in the storm. But if we keep learning, we remain flexible, adaptable, and prepared for whatever comes. It is not the strongest or the most intelligent who survive, but the ones who are willing to adapt and grow. A learner's mind is never insecure because knowledge gives them confidence and wisdom gives them peace. There is also a joy in learning that success alone cannot provide. To learn something new is to awaken a part of yourself that you did not know existed. It stretches your mind, expands your vision, and gives you a fresh enthusiasm for life. Money may buy comfort, but learning gives you meaning. A career may give you a title, but wisdom will give you influence. Skills can be taken from you, but the knowledge you cultivate becomes a part of who you are. No one can steal it, no circumstance can erase it. So never stop being a student. Enter every stage of life with curiosity, openness, and humility. Approach challenges not with the frustration of "why me?" but with the mindset of "what can I learn here?" When you embrace lifelong learning, your career becomes not just a series of jobs or promotions, but a journey of constant growth. And when you keep growing, you not only succeed, you inspire everyone around you to rise higher as well. Failure is one of the most misunderstood experiences in life. Most people look at failure as the opposite of success, but in truth, failure is the companion of success. They are not enemies, they walk hand in hand. No one who has ever achieved something great has done it without stumbling, without falling, without feeling the sting of defeat. The only difference between those who rise and those who stay down is perspective. Some see failure as the end, while others see it as feedback. Failure is not a signal to quit. It is a signal to learn, adjust, and try again with more wisdom than before. When you fail, life is not punishing you, life is teaching you. Every setback is a silent mentor. Every disappointment is a lesson disguised in pain. If you have the courage to look beyond the embarrassment and frustration, you will discover that failure carries within it the seeds of growth. It forces you to reflect, to analyze, to ask questions you would never have asked if everything had gone smoothly. Success teaches celebration, but failure teaches depth. Success shows you what worked, but failure shows you what didn't. And knowing what doesn't work is often the key to discovering what does. Tragedy is that many people allow failure to define their identity. They fail once and label themselves as failures forever. But a single moment of falling does not define your entire journey. You are not your mistakes. You are the strength with which you rise from them. Think of a child learning to walk. How many times do they stumble and fall? Yet no parent ever says, "My child failed at walking." Why? Because falling is a natural part of the process. In the same way, every failure in your career or life is just part of the process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable. Great inventions, great companies, great leaders and even great spiritual teachers have all faced failure. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before discovering the light bulb, but he never called it failure. He called it discovering thousands of ways that didn't work. Every attempt gave him feedback, and every feedback brought him closer to success. The truth is, the path to success is paved with failed attempts that slowly carve the way forward. If you avoid failure, you also avoid growth. If you run from failure, you also run from progress. Failure also teaches humility. When everything goes right, pride and ego can easily blind us. But when we fall, we are reminded of our limitations, of our need to grow, of our dependence on persistence and resilience. Failure has the power to make us softer, wiser, and more compassionate toward others. It teaches us patience and reminds us that perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" ask, "What is this failure trying to teach me?" That small shift in perspective turns pain into power. Suddenly, your struggle has meaning. Suddenly, your mistakes become stepping stones. Suddenly, your journey, even with its ups and downs, feels purposeful. Life is not asking you to be flawless, it is asking you to be fearless. To be willing to try, and to be willing to fall, and to be willing to rise again. Remember, this failure is not the opposite of success. It is the foundation of it. Every successful person you admire today has a history of failures hidden behind their achievements. They did not succeed because they avoided failure. They succeeded because they embraced it, learned from it, and kept going. So, when failure visits you, welcome it as a teacher, not an enemy. Let it refine you, not define you. And know that every time you rise from failure, you are not starting from zero, you are starting from experience. To earn a living is necessary, but to live only for yourself is shallow. True depth in a career and in life comes when you realize that what you do is not only about what you get, but also about what you give. When you begin to serve while you earn, your work transforms from being just a profession into a mission. You are no longer just an employee, a businessman, a doctor, a teacher, or an artist. You become a contributor to the lives of others. Service gives meaning to money. Without service, even the highest paycheck feels empty. But with service, even the simplest job feels profound. When you serve through your career, you are not just fulfilling duties, you are touching hearts. A teacher who goes beyond textbooks to truly care for students, a doctor who treats patients with compassion and not just prescriptions, a leader who inspires rather than controls, a worker who shows integrity in every task. These are people who prove that service adds dignity to any profession. The world remembers people not for how much they earned, but for how much they gave. Generosity is not only about charity outside your workplace, it is also about the spirit with which you carry out your daily responsibilities. Serving while you earn does not always mean giving away material things. Sometimes it means offering your patience, your kindness, your honesty, or your willingness to help. Sometimes it means mentoring a junior colleague who is struggling instead of seeing them as competition. Sometimes it means treating customers with genuine respect instead of just completing a transaction. Every career offers opportunities to serve if only we choose to see them. When you integrate service into your work, you begin to feel fulfillment that money alone can never provide. Money can buy comfort, but service brings contentment. Money may make you rich, but service makes you rich in spirit. And here lies the paradox. Those who serve wholeheartedly often attract greater success as well, because people are naturally drawn to sincerity, compassion, and authenticity. Clients prefer businesses that serve their needs honestly, employees are loyal to leaders who genuinely care, and society respects individuals who give more than they take. Without service, work becomes mechanical. You may finish tasks, but you feel no connection. You may receive your salary, but you feel no satisfaction. This is why so many people reach high positions, yet confess that they feel something is missing. That missing piece is the joy of giving. Service transforms your career into a journey where every day matters, because every day you touch lives, even in small ways. Think about it at the end of your life. No one will ask how much money you earned, but people will tell stories about how you made them feel, how you helped them, how you went out of your way to support them. Service builds a legacy far greater than wealth. Wealth fades with time, but the impact of your service can live on for generations. So as you work, don't just ask, how much will I get paid? Also ask, how much can I give through this? Don't just measure your career by the promotions you receive. Measure it also by the lives you touch. Because in the end, a successful career is not just about income, it is about impact. Serving while you earn ensures that your journey is not only profitable, but also purposeful. Not only impressive, but also inspiring. Time is the most precious resource we have, yet it is the one people waste most carelessly. Money can be earned, lost, and earned again. Property can be bought and sold. Even health, to some extent, can be regained with treatment and discipline. But time, once it slips through your fingers, is gone forever. Every moment that passes will never return. The clock does not pause, it does not wait, and it does not ask permission, it keeps moving. That is why valuing time over money is one of the wisest lessons you can ever learn in your career and in your life. Many people sacrifice time at the altar of money. They give up their youth, their health, their family moments, their inner peace, all in the name of accumulating more wealth. And while money can buy luxury, it cannot buy back the years you lost with your loved ones. It cannot buy back your child's childhood that you missed while chasing deals. It cannot buy back your health after years of stress and sleepless nights. The tragedy is that so many people realize the value of time only when it is too late, when they look back and wish they could rewind life. But time does not allow rewinds. It only allows wise choices in the present moment. Time is life itself. To waste time is to waste life. Every day, every hour, every second is a portion of your existence that will never be repeated. When you spend it wisely, nurturing relationships, pursuing meaningful goals, serving others, growing in wisdom, you are enriching your life. But when you waste it in meaningless pursuits, in endless comparisons, in greed-driven ambitions that rob you of peace, you are spending your life on things that will leave you empty in the end. In careers, it is easy to be blinded by the illusion that working longer always means working better. But endless hours without balance do not guarantee true success. Sometimes people work day and night, thinking they are building a future, but in the process, they are destroying their present. Real productivity is not measured by how many hours you work, but by how much value you create in those hours. When you prioritize wisely, when you learn to say no to distractions, when you focus on what truly matters, you achieve more in less time and keep your soul intact. Time is also the great equalizer. Rich or poor, powerful or powerless, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who live fulfilled lives and those who live regretful ones is how they use those hours. If you spend your time constantly chasing money at the cost of meaning, you may end up wealthy but hollow. But if you use your time to create, to connect, to grow, to serve, you may or may not accumulate great riches, but you will accumulate something far greater: memories, love, wisdom, and a life well lived. Money can give comfort, but time well spent gives joy. Money can create security, but time invested in relationships creates belonging. Money can buy treatment, but time invested in health prevents disease. Money can open doors, but time invested in learning opens your mind. That is why time is the true wealth. Use it carefully, because every day you trade your time for something. Make sure you are trading it for what truly matters. At the end of life, people rarely say, "I wish I had made more money." What they say is, "I wish I had more time," or "I wish I had spent more time with the people I love." Do not wait for that regret to wake you up. Value your time now, because valuing time is valuing life. Let money be the servant, not the master. Let time guide your choices, because it is the one treasure you can never earn back once it is gone. Character is the most valuable currency you will ever possess. Skills may get you opportunities, intelligence may win you recognition, and money may buy you influence. But none of these can replace the trust, respect, and credibility that come from strong character. In the end, people will not measure you only by what you achieved, but by how you achieved it. A brilliant career built on lies, deceit, or selfishness may shine for a while, but it will eventually collapse like a house built on sand. On the other hand, a career grounded in integrity, honesty, humility, and values may rise slowly, but it will stand the test of time and inspire others long after you are gone. Character is not something you wear in public and take off in private. It is who you are when no one is watching, when no cameras are recording, when there is no applause or reward. The world often celebrates success, but life silently rewards character. You may fool people for a while, but you cannot fool life. Whatever is built without integrity is destined to break. We see countless examples in our world: leaders who fall from grace, businessmen who lose everything overnight, celebrities who are exposed. Their talent and intelligence were undeniable, but their lack of character destroyed what they built. This shows us that character is not optional. It is essential. Strong character also creates trust, and trust is the foundation of every relationship, whether personal or professional. People may admire your abilities, but they will only follow you if they trust your values. A boss with character creates loyalty among employees. A business person with character creates faith among customers. A friend with character creates bonds that cannot be broken. Trust cannot be bought, it must be earned, and the only way to earn it is by living consistently with integrity, even when it is difficult. Character is tested most in times of struggle. When life is easy, it is simple to act good and speak wisely. But when money is tight, when pressure is high, When temptation knocks at your door, that is when your true character is revealed. Will you cut corners to get ahead? Will you betray your values for quick gains? Or will you stand firm even if it costs you in the short term? Those who protect their character may face temporary setbacks, but they gain long-term peace. Those who compromise their character may enjoy temporary benefits, but they carry lifelong regret. Character also gives you inner strength. When you live with honesty, there is no need to constantly cover lies or hide secrets. Your heart is light, your mind is clear, and your spirit is free. But when you compromise your values, you are always looking over your shoulder, always restless, always afraid of being exposed. Money cannot buy that kind of peace. Only character can. At the end of the day, people may forget the awards you won, the positions you held, or the wealth you accumulated, but they will never forget the person you were. They will remember your kindness, your fairness, your humility, your compassion, and your integrity. This is why character is greater than talent, greater than wealth, greater than titles. Because while all those things fade, character leaves a legacy that cannot be erased. So, as you build your career, guard your character as your greatest treasure. Do not sell it for shortcuts. Do not trade it for popularity. And do not compromise it for temporary success. Because the true measure of a person is not how high they climb, but how strong they remain in their values while climbing. Character is the currency that will never lose its value, no matter how the world changes.